Was there a secret Roycroft tunnel under Main Street? Hi folks, Robert Lowell Goller here. Thank you for joining me for our weekly chats about local history. I've spoken before about a tunnel that allegedly was under the east end of Main Street, East Main Street, during the Underground Railroad period. And I'll talk about that again because I'm getting more questions about it. Alleged tunnel, that'll give you a clue as to whether or not I believe it actually existed. But there was also, did you know, another tunnel that was proposed under Main Street right here outside the Roycroft and at what is today East Aurora Middle School. It was 1941 and not a lot of people know about this, but it was March or April of 1941, and what ended up happening is the Roycroft had gone bankrupt. A man named Samuel Guard had purchased the Roycroft campus, the Roycroft shops, and he bought the campus, but he had no use for the Roycroft Chapel building, which is right behind me here, and so he wanted to offer it to the school district. He had a proposal to sell it to them for $10,000, and it would solve a space problem. And he at the school, and he had thought that that the school district could convert this chapel that Samuel Guard had no use for anymore, and convert it into a library, a music center, or an art gallery, a use for the school. And so he made a proposal to the school board in 1941, just before the United States entered World War II, and he proposed that he would sell this building, the chapel, to the school district right across the street for $10,000. And then he also proposed, because there was a concern even back then of students walking from the school across the street to the Roycroft Chapel building. So his proposal was to build a tunnel under Main Street from the school to the Roycroft Chapel, and that would run right under the street, right behind me, under Main Street. And he had said to overcome the traffic hazard, he suggested that a tunnel be placed under Main Street at the intersection there, and that was a report in the Easter Advertiser. Now, the reason you may not have heard about this tunnel is because it never happened, and in fact the school board declined the offer right away. It seemed like a pie-in-the-sky proposal of Mr. Guard in order to get to unload the chapel, which he didn't seem to have a use for in 1941. And of course, after we entered World War II, priorities changed, and so there was no talk about the school district purchasing the chapel. But it seemed like he was just coming up with an idea that he wanted to unload the chapel. He didn't have a use for it anymore. Thought the school district would be interested in it, and then in order to sweeten the deal, he had thought, well, you know, if there is a concern about students walking across Main Street, we'll just build a tunnel under the street, and that, of course, never happened. One of the things that was an issue about this proposal was the cost. He was suggesting $10,000 for the school district to buy the chapel building, and then they had suggested that it was going to be another $10,000 in order to build the tunnel and create a heating system, and that would have translated into, all told, about $500,000 in today's dollars. But of course, that's not apples to apples, because there's a lot more expense with producing something like that today. But a really big expense in order to do that. So that might have been one of the reasons that the school board declined the tunnel idea and the Roycroft Chapel. In any event, that idea probably, regardless of how much it cost, probably wasn't seen as feasible. A tunnel under Main Street didn't seem like a good idea at the time. Of course, the Roycroft Chapel building here became the Baptist Church after a while, and then after several years it became the Aurora Town Hall, and today, of course, it's part of the Roycroft campus. But at one time it was suggested to become part of the school, and a tunnel was suggested to connect the chapel building with the school across the street, and it never happened. One of those mysterious tunnel stories here in East Aurora, part of our local lore, but no truth to the idea, but no truth to the actual tunnel under Main Street.